Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. Luton versus Chelsea preview. This game need no introduction because we know that Luton are actually not the whipping boys of the Premier League. They're not the Derby County of '07. They're not the team that are going to go and just have a good time and not a long time. They're gonna actually cause problems. They're winning games. They're causing issues for Premier League teams. At this very ground, they took Arsenal right to the end. They took points off Liverpool. So we don't even need to have a conversation about underestimating anybody in this league. We can't even underestimate teams below us in the Championship. We've seen the Blackburns, the Wimbledons. So it's going to be a fight. This is an old school English game. This is a dogfight. This is a lump it, slump it, my Donnies don't eat crumpets. It's a backs to the wall. It's long throws, potentially crosses, set pieces, physicality, determination, aggression, all of that good stuff. And we've got injuries. We got more injuries. We got fresh injuries. Lavia, a knock against Crystal Palace, under assessment, questionable. This game, probably not on the bench. If he is on the bench, we're fortunate. Mudryk, a knock potentially after the Palace game as well. A question mark on him. We are a team that are fragile, and we've seen it in our game in terms of our defending from wide crosses, from set pieces, from corners. We've been conceding so many opportunities, so many goals from these scenarios, and we did it again against Crystal Palace with the cross coming in. And this is the exact type of game where you are going to be punished on those dead ball situations, on those crosses in open play, on those set pieces. So, am I confident? With all due respect to Luton, no, I'm not. You thought I had? No, I'm not confident. But again, I wasn't confident for Palace. We managed to get through it, even though it was a very back and forth game. Anybody could have won that. We just were fortunate that Petrovic, stood firm when he was counted on from Matisse, etc. And of course, we managed to get our penalty. But it was a back and forth. It was a mid-table clash. And this game could have a bit of mid-table clash about it too. If Luton keep winning and we keep having struggles, we might be next to them in the table. We're not far from them. So with all due respect, yeah, I'm paying my respects for sure, more than you can believe. So my team is of course going to be strong. Pochettino was speaking on this game, old-fashioned stadium, old-fashioned ground. You're going to be able to hear the saucepans and the spoons knocking on from the kitchen windowsills of those Luton fans in the crowd. You know what I mean? The houses are right there. The washing will be done. The washing lines will be out. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a long day. These players are about to get a humbling in terms of the facilities. Do you know what I'm saying? In terms of the capacity, they're gonna see real football stadium today. From when they were probably playing in under 16s or under 18s. Like they're gonna really feel it. For me, like I said, the physicality is a worry. This team has been kind of spoken about. Lack of height is why Colwell's playing here. Lack of height in midfield. Lack of defending on these set pieces, these wide areas. I'm worried about whether or not we can actually handle that because our defending recently has been really, really poor. Now, Badiashile, I don't know what's happened to him over the last week or so. The last 3 games, he's making individual errors. He's getting spun. This is the type of game where you'd want an informed Badiashile because of his height, because of his size, because of his composure, the way that he plays the game. If he was on form, this would be the perfect game for him. Disasi, this is the perfect game for him as well, you'd assume, because of the way that he plays. In the air, at least he's dominant as well. And he's got the personality, and I think he can get down and dirty if he has to. But again, defensively, we're not on form. So it begs the question, what do we do back there? Now, for me, with my team, it's going to be up on screen. I've gone with my team and my predicted team. I feel like Silva is a guaranteed to play in this game, right? It's one of those games where we're going to need concentration to be at a must. Now, he did make a little error when he came on off the bench against Palace. And he's fortunate that thankfully we didn't concede to that. Otherwise, it would have been another error for him and also for the team in general. But I think he's going to play this game. Who partners him is anybody's guess. Now, Levi Colwill, I'd like to see him at centre-back, right? He's not playing particularly well at the moment. Defensively, he's had his own errors, his own mistakes, not tracking people or going for headers that weren't really for him and leaving Elise back post. I feel like the only way we can really win this game is to outplay Luton. You know, if we played a game of physicality, if we played a game of argy-bargy, we have to be aggressive, don't get me wrong. But if we try to actually make that our game, we're going to lose. We're going to lose more than you can believe. We're going to lose because we can't fake it till we make it. We don't have the physicality. We don't have that strength that is required to go up against a team like this blow for blow. But technically, this is where we should be blowing Luton out of the water. So I think Pochettino will pick Disasi, but I've gone with Colwell because he's better on the ball. At least he should be, right? If he's playing to his level, and Silva next to him as well. I think he's going to play Disasi next to Silva. And I think Badiashile, as he was taken out for the Wolves game, will probably be taken out again in this game just because, again, he's been very patchy with his form. Gusto at right back. I would play Maatsen at left back. It's not going to happen because, of course, this is the exact game when it's never going to happen physicality-wise. We're looking at a player that is probably pretty weak in comparison to what we're facing. He's not going to be a help on set pieces. He's not going to be a help on crosses. And of course, when you look at, even when he had his performance against Palace, receiving the ball, not his perfect position, not his natural position, but he was pretty easily blown over. That could also be because of a lack of minutes. That could be because of a lack of game time, but also it could just be he's not the strongest. She doesn't look it. But the reason why I would like to see him at left back, and I keep saying it, is that we are not really maximising the left winger. If Mudryk had somebody overlapping him, combining with him, and on top of the fact that he's starting to play well and he's cutting inside and he's joining up play and he's playing these nice reverse passes and he's creating opportunities and now he's scored, I just feel like it would elevate his game. It would give that fullback that he's coming up against two things to think about as well. And again, I'm more thinking about what we can do technically as opposed to what I know we can't do physically. But I know we're going to go for Colwell, so I've got him in the predicted one. He's going to play Colwell at left back again. Are we going to concede from a set piece? Are we going to concede from a cross, even with the extra height? Probably. So again, like I said on All You Can Eat Chelsea, if you're conceding regardless on these situations, why not play the player in their natural position to try and at least score more goals? But hey, we still roll with this. In midfield, Caicedo and Gallagher's got to be a must. The rest of them are injured, right? So it's pretty simple to pick it. And then obviously in the 10, I'd like seeing Cuckoo start. My little worry and PTSD is that in Cuckoo, in a physical game like this, someone does a madness and he gets a knock. Hopefully that doesn't happen. He was part of the goal that we scored for the first, obviously joining up with Gusto. We need more of that. He can actually strike a ball, a free kick on the edge of the area. It's going to be him that takes it. So we need him. And then on the wide positions, like I said, Mudryk is a doubt. He's a question mark, but I've got him in there anyway. If he's fit, he plays for me on the left wing, following on from his good performance, especially in the first half against Palace. Right side, I've got Palmer. Madueke, I would love to start, but Palmer has to play. Palmer has to play. He's been performing for a long time in terms of his, minutes accumulated this season. He's been performing and being one of our best players. Madueke, the only thing I can hope is that he's rewarded for his performance coming off the bench, making an impact with more minutes. Now, he's made best of what you've given him. Try and give him more minutes. If we need an extra bit of energy in the second half, let's get him half an hour now. Let's get him more. Let's get him involved. I don't think Madueke expects to start. I don't think Pochettino was saying in quotes that Madueke is not happy with me because I'm not playing him, right? I don't think Madueke expects to start. But of course, for his development, it would be nice for him to get minutes. If he deserves it based on training, of course, which we will never know. Up front, Jackson, it's his last game, I believe, before AFCON. Yes, he's frustrating in terms of his finishing, but he helped us create a lot of chances against Palace. He was joining up the play quite well and linking up as he always does. As I've always said, that this is one of the things I really like about him. This is why on the Big Six I called him the baby Jesus, and the Arsenal fans were kicking off. Now he's got more goals than Jesus in the league this season. He's got 7. Jesus has got 3. But I called him the baby Jesus because he's not better than Jesus, right? I'm not going to be arrogant about this. But I think he's the baby version, right? He links up play well. He drops deep. He dribbles past players. He carries the ball. He works incredibly hard. Is his finishing good enough? No, it's not. But if we don't sign a striker in the early part of January, when he's away at AFCON, we're probably going to miss him, right? Because with Nkuku behind him now, that chemistry and connection hopefully will be there from pre-season. As long as Mudryk is also playing at his level, it's a good team in terms of technically. I think there's something there. Finishing wise, output wise, loads of questions, but they as a 3 should be able to play decent to good football. So Jackson will start. I don't want to put Nkuku up front yet. He might have to go up front during the AFCON, but I think a key part of the Palace win was Nkuku getting in that left half space, joining up with Mudryk, especially when you know the fullback in the predicted lineup is not going to be Maatsen, and you know that we're not going to have an overlapper, it's going to be Colwell. You need to give support to Mudryk in that left half space. You need to give him someone to connect with. Jackson also likes to pull out there. Now you've got a trio that can connect and combine and play those 1-2s that we saw earlier on in the season. And then we can create opportunities, as we did in the Palace game. So I want Nkunku to be involved. I don't want him to be up front right now, not getting service, not receiving as many touches as he needs to, not joining up the play. If we're going to see Nkunku at his best, we need to play him in the heart of this attack. So, and arriving in the box. So that's the plan. Sterling, if Mudryk can't play, Sterling will start on the left. You know my thoughts on Sterling. Listen, he was great in that game in terms of chance creation against Wolves. He got an assist, set up Jackson, set up, loads of opportunities. But that 2v1 or 3v1, I feel like there should be a punishment. And I feel like you should sit on the bench. And like I said, I would have hooked him off, but I feel like there's got to be repercussions for that. You gotta hold that, yeah. You sit on the bench and then you come on and you prove yourself and you fix up your decision making and you make sensible decisions in terms of that moment. But he'll probably start if Mudryk is not. And listen, against a low block, potentially a team that will need to find a way through. He's not the worst player to have, barring he actually makes the correct decisions. So that's my team. That's my thoughts. We know that Sanchez is on his way to arriving back into this team. I think Petrovic has done enough at the moment to keep his position. We haven't seen enough. There's not enough sample size. We need more difficult games in terms of shots faced and all that kind of stuff, because 2 of the 3 have been pretty much no opposition has really put many pelters on that goal. But at the moment, he's calm. His passing is simple and basic. He's not making errors. So I'm happy to have him in goal. Even when Sanchez is back, he deserves to keep his place. And in terms of, the rest of the injuries, it's as you were. Same players, same absentees, same rehabilitations going on, programs and whatnot. We will not see these brothers for a while. The transfer window is opening on the 1st, of course, and we will be there because we will have plenty of things to discuss, plenty of, we're going to have to dive into this in terms of what do we need to do, what is the to-do list. We're going to talk about that, the sells, the buys, the rumours, the news, all of that good stuff. But let's focus on this Luton game. Let's win. And then if we can do that, we can move on and hopefully slowly move ourselves into a decent position in this table. So yeah, guys, make sure you smash up the likes. Make sure you subscribe. Big up your damn selves in a bit. Peace, people. Come on.